Hmm. Right.
I just messaged Callum to tell him to add this account. 24.
Right.
Right, I've messaged Callum and hopefully he will add me and then I can get invited to the game.
Actually, actually, I'll see if I can do it on my end. Yep, there we go.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Please work, please work, please work. Come on, come on, come on. You know you want to. Right, I'm in.
Yes, we are finally in business. Holy crumbs, that was brutal to get set up. Finally.
Right. Yes. Right. I just need to sort out the TV. Wait, it's alright. Just need to sort out the TV and then get myself ready to go. So give me 2 minutes, mate, and I'll be with you.
Right, so. Right, there we go, that's him in. Right, Right.
Right, I'm back, mate. You right?
Yeah, right, there we go. Let's see. Automatic receipt broadcast for 14 days, right. Sure.
Got a rather crumpled bit of paper. So can I just run through with you very, very quickly?
Yeah.
The changes for this race. The Sauber is now Matthew and Ryan, and we have is Toby in? Yeah, Toby's here for Renault instead of Roland this time. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Danny is now at Toro Rosso instead of Josue.
Good to know.
And actually, we have an almost full grid.
Which is fantastic.
Because it looks like. Can you hear me properly? Hang on, I'm trying to clip this up. Right, can you hear me properly like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I've just clipped up the microphone, so I don't have to hold it for 2 hours.
Good to know.
I was going to say, who the hell's Rubbernecker?
That's what I'm trying to work out. Scartrix is someone I'm not familiar with.
Which one?
Scartrix, the McLaren guy.
Yeah, I might just message.
Must be a reserve driver.
Have a look. Who is who's Scartrix and Rubbernecker? Up, was it up? Right, so you still there?
Yep.
So that Rubbernecker was the Haas, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
And the Scartrix was McLaren.
Yes, that's correct.
I'll try and see if I can find their name.
Here we go. Good evening, folks. Welcome to qualifying for round 2 of the Talk of the Devil Racing League. We are here under the lights in Bahrain. With me, as always, my co-commentary partner, Mr. Matthew Dixon.
Good evening, everyone.
And we've got our first driver making their way out onto the track. The first 2 drivers, in fact. And it is Ricky and Jimmy, by the looks of it, as well.
Yes, Jimmy is out in the McLaren. Sorry, the Williams, sorry, even.
Yeah. And we've got one of the new... We've got some interesting last-minute... additions to the team. Last-minute additions to... and not just tonight, but also but also to the grid, because some drivers couldn't make it tonight. But we've got all but one of the slots. We've got pretty much everybody here tonight, apart from one of the Haas drivers who has sadly left the league. But nevertheless, we hope to get that slot filled very soon. So it's Jack is Kyle. My mistake. Kyle is.
Oh, Williams off already. That's Lee off with the Williams. Testing out the braking zone there into turn 10 on his out lap. So obviously pushing hard.
Now, I was saying during the free practice that there's always going to be that there is the possibility of issues at that corner, because the corner, it's not the most ideal place in the world to be trying to lift and coast at the same, lifting, braking and turning into the corner at the same time. You're going right through. Sweeping through turn 9, braking to turn into turn 10. Not the most ideal situation in the world.
No, ideally you'd want to be braking. Oh, we got that's Ricky spun in the McLaren on his quick lap. He spun down there in the McLaren. I think that's turn 8.
Indeed. Oh, that is really unfortunate. And he's got his teammate
Oh!
Scar. And Scar!
2 McLarens are taking each other out. My God.
But amazingly, Ricky's still in. Scar is not going to be advancing in qualifying.
Well, that's unbelievable. That was a little bit silly there by Ricky. You've got to say a little bit silly by Scar. Should have seen that one coming, but well, Ricky backed off. Scar didn't see it in time and is out of qualifying. Unbelievable.
About that.
First lap in by Jimmy, 1:31.9. First representative lap time there. That's actually a pretty good lap time from what we saw in free practice. That's a good lap time there by the Williams.
Indeed, we weren't anticipating that happening so soon. But Mike was second fastest in practice earlier today as well. Well, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, he looks good in Australia.
Lee and one of the Mercedes almost coming into contact with each other. It was Joe. Joe and Lee almost coming to blows.
Oh, it's like the race in Australia is taking place in qualifying at the moment, isn't it? It's like they're all going all over the place. Joe goes quickest. His lap there as well, 1:31.2.
Yep. And
Gary
Gareth
is saving, by the looks of it, he's saving a set of super softs. He's gone out on the soft tyre, so instead of going out on the supers, which everyone else has done, He's gone
That
out on the
is
soft, so he
interesting.
could be saving.
And Ben straight in there without a moment's hesitation. 1:28.403.
That's a good lap. That is quicker than we saw in practice. Quite a lot quicker. I think it was and Matt goes second, 3/10 off him.
My goodness me. And here's so I'm on board. So I'm with Mike right now, and wow, what a performance he had in qualifying in Australia last week.
Yes, getting onto the front row, you certainly wouldn't have expected that with that South Renault. So, also, just is Ryan just gone completely wide in turns 11 and 12. But no, Mike did very, very well in Australia in that Renault. What is going on with Ryan? Ryan's out. Ryan has crashed.
Oh no, he's one of the newcomers as well.
I'm not actually quite sure what happened there. He just seemed to totally lose control coming out of turn 13 and was out. So already,
My goodness me.
2 out of qualifying.
I think we've got a third man out.
Yeah, I think Joe might have just finished the session a bit earlier.
Oh, and Ricky is getting a 5-place grid penalty for his collision with Joe.
Yeah, was that?
So
was
Ricky
that
collided with Joe,
was that
putting
the
Joe
incident we
essentially
saw
out of
earlier?
qualifying. My
Was that the
goodness
incident
me.
you were talking about earlier, possibly?
No, that just popped up on my screen just there. Ricky just got a grid penalty for a collision with Joe, which may have put Joe out of qualifying.
Oh, what's going on with these guys? You know, we gave them some allowances in Australia to win the first race, but I don't think we'll give them those allowances here.
Unbelievable. So we've got a man going by the name of Rubbernecker, and he's stopped. There goes
I've got
one
to
of the
say
Red
though,
Bulls past him.
Rubbernecker there, 4th in the Haas. That's a good lap, 1:30.2. That's a good lap.
Very impressive indeed.
I'm just watching Ricky at the moment in the McLaren. He's come in, he's changed the front wings, he had that damage from the spin earlier. Put on, presumably, a new set of super softs. Be interesting to see how he went, because he managed to finish the race in Australia in 5th place. And, I mean, that's a heaven really for McLaren, getting 10 points in the opening race. Not a bad first sector either, so he's looks like he could be on the pace here.
And Mike,
goes
how's
fast.
about
What a
that?
lap. What a lap.
1:28.140. How's about that? And Gary on the soft tyres, he is 4th at the moment, 1:29.328. His teammate Ben managing to get one set of tyres to last 47 laps, and that resulted in a very impressive 2nd place.
Yeah, what made that even more impressive really was the fact that he had 2 incidents in the first 11 laps. Both times he had to have his front wing changed. I think he collided with Mike on the first lap, and I think it was Lee in the Williams he had contact with on lap 11, which is why he had to do that. We heard in his interview earlier on in the week that he literally had no fresh tyres left. That's why he had to do it. But yes, it was a good result really. To come back from that, he was a long way back, and he came home second.
Hello!
That's Kyle in the hats. Not quite sure what's happening.
Unbelievable!
I am currently watching Jimmy in the Williams. He's 11th at the moment. I mean, again, as Australia, it's all about getting into the top 15. But you know what? With all the number of cars dropping out, and yes, I've just seen the Haas of Kyle crash out of the final corner. There's a little bit of debris on the track which Jimmy had to steer around. He spun coming out the final corner and collected the wall.
Unbelievable. I mean, I mean, Ryan and Scar for Sauber and McLaren respectively. I mean, you can understand a couple of rookie mistakes from them, but Kyle and Joe, how's about that? They're both. It looks like because of that, neither of them, Joe, Kyle, Ryan, and Scar, are not going to be advancing into the next stage of qualifying.
Unfortunately, I think, as in Australia, we were saying during qualifying that a lot of people, I think, are just trying to put down a marker to their teammate, and if they can make a quicker lap time, even if it is in the first part of qualifying. Don't forget, a lot of these teams early on in the season, they do have equal team orders. There's no number one, number two drivers. Some of the teams do, but not all of them. So if they can get an advantage early by getting a quicker lap time, it could potentially lead to advantage later on in the season. So you can understand them pushing hard.
Indeed.
Jimmy failed to improve on that lap. He remained, well, he's now 12th.
He's down in 12th indeed, yeah. Lee, 136.847. He's currently 14th. And
Good lap I've
Stephen,
just noticed by Danny, the new driver in the Toro Rosso. He's gone up to 10th on a 131.231. That's a good lap there. He's about a second off his teammate Martin in the other Toro Rosso, but it's still a good lap.
and less than just over 200 between Ben and Stephen, who's just gone third. And as I say that, Callum pushes him down to 4th.
Oh, good lap. I mean, that's... Joe, I honestly think if there is... if those two can... Callum and Mike can keep themselves out of trouble in the first couple of corners, the way that they were this close in qualifying in Australia, and look at that again, just 400ths in it. So I think they're going to be impressive.
I mean, the top 5, top 6 are separated by just over half a second. And whoa, that was one of the Force Indias almost losing the back end.
Oh, Jimmy's just run out of fuel. That's annoying. He was on a better lap, and I think that would have been a quicker lap. He did a 132.1 despite doing the last 100 metres or so with limited fuel. So that would be frustrating for him. But there's still 5 minutes left. He should have just enough time to creep back round to the pit, stick on another set of tyres, and go from there.
Yeah, and wait and see what happens. And that's Lee going a little wide. Lee's out of fuel as well. I think Lee's almost out of fuel as well.
Oh, and Gareth in the Force India run very, very wide in turn one, completely outbrakes himself.
Yeah, but I mean, this is absolutely beggars belief. Mike, who started second in Australia, didn't finish the race, unfortunately. He's currently fastest in this first part of qualifying, but that doesn't count for anything at the moment. It will be the slowest 4 cars in this case that will not be advancing to the next part of qualifying. I mean, Joe's more or less guaranteed a place in the next part of qualifying anyway, but because he crashed, he's not going to be able to take any further part in qualifying.
No, he should be fine. He should be definitely through to the next section. It's going to be really... Looking at these times, you'd say it'd be between the 2 Williams and the Sauber of Matthew as to who gets through. They're the 2 cars on the bubble. I mean, there's 21 thousandths between Matthew and Jimmy there on the bubble, 14th and 15th. And if Lee can set an improved lap time, he could also get himself in there because he's some 5 seconds off the pace at the moment. So that's going to be the fight. I think Joe will be totally fine. The 29.6 should comfortably see him through. Oh, Gareth is pushing very hard in that course, isn't he? He's run wide a couple of times on this lap. Started the second lap and nearly spun it coming out of turn 1.
I think he's saving himself for. I think he's saving himself for a banzai attempt.
I think he was, but I think all of that blew itself on the curve on the way out of turn 1. Though that was pushing a little bit too hard.
Yeah. So there's the slow Williams of Jimmy. And here we go. Here comes Gary. He's coming round.
Quite interesting.
What was that? Sorry.
We were talking earlier about Gary going on the soft tyres. He's now gone back out on the super softs.
Definitely a man on a mission. He's got a point to prove after what happened in Australia. And that's... Oh, it's Ricky! I think Ricky's gone.
Yes, he has. He's retired from the session. And so is Matt. Matt's also out.
I think what the case might be is they are happy with their time, so they've decided to finish their session early.
Well, I can understand Matt. Definitely understand Matt. He's quite. You definitely say he's safe in 5th, but that's a bold call by Ricky in the McLaren. He's in 11th place. Only needs a bit of improvement from the two Williams and the Sauber and the Force India behind him, and he could be out.
Yeah, it's a pretty tall order to try and push someone from 11th to essentially the knockout zone.
It's not unheard of. If they all get out there on the final banzai lap and find that extra few tenths, it could be enough. Oh, and Gary's... Oh, this is going to be close with the Williams.
He goes a little wide.
I think he's just about okay. I'm trying to work out who that... Why is he doing that? Why is... Well, that was a bit silly. Now, he overtook the Williams. I'm trying to see who it was. Lee.
It was Lee, yes.
And ended up just accelerating alongside him, not quite sure. But Gary goes fastest. What a lap. 128.0.
That was around, just under a tenth faster than Mike. I think he's more than happy with how he's done.
That's a good lap. That's a very good lap by Gary. Don't forget, in the pre-race interviews, Ben was very, very, very confident about his chances here this weekend. So I think Gary was probably just setting down a marker for him there, saying he's also in this.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a case of let's see how confident you are with this. And there you go.
So 3 minutes left now of qualifying. Not long. Just trying to see who's out on a lap. One of the Williams has...
The checkered flag is actually dropped.
Oh, yeah,
so
sorry.
that means those who are on laps right... Yeah.
Lee's on a lap, and I think Danny's also on a lap in the Toro Rosso. Oh, Lee's run wide.
Ooh, dear. Yeah. But like I say, it's the checker flag's dropped, which means those that are on laps right now will have the opportunity to finish them should they desire.
I think that's what Lee's trying to do. Certainly Danny he's pushing very hard in that Toro Rosso. But I think Lee's
you've got Jimmy. Why is Jimmy still out there? He comes out there. And Lee does improve 136.2, but he will not be advancing. His teammate Jimmy, however, will.
Yeah, I did watch that lap of, or some of that lap of Lee's, and he was pushing very, very hard trying to get that through. And I think he was possibly just over pushing it, but the pressure's on. We know when you're in that situation, your teammate's just ahead of you, you want to make lap time, the pressure is on you.
Indeed.
I'm just watching the end of the lap here with Danny in the Toro Rosso.
Yep.
He's been looking pretty good actually. He's looking pretty smooth. He's aborted the lap. He knows he's safe, so he doesn't need to take any other.
He's safe anyway, so that's definitely going to make things very interesting as we head into the second part of qualifying.
Yeah, some very interesting lap times there. Gary definitely set the mark, and Mike as well in the Renault. I think everyone else, from what I could see, I mean, from what I saw, certainly Callum's lap and Ben's, I think they were possibly holding some back for the last part. Because, like we said in Australia, you don't want to be over pushing the car, you don't want to be making it hard for yourself.
Indeed. We'll see the final. We'll see who is officially out. And we'll have a look. So there we go. Gary fastest, Mike second. The guys that are out are Scar, Ryan, Kyle, and Lee. Those guys are out. And Ricky is going to be getting a 5-place grid penalty because of his collision with Joe earlier on in the session. So here we go into qualifying 2, and Joe, who we thought was out due to a crash, is actually okay and he's able to continue. Only down in was he on the brink of the top 10, but nevertheless he's through.
Trying to see who's left in the pit lane. It is Gary. Straight out there. So is Ricky in the McLaren
Gary, Jimmy, and Ricky all out on laps.
Also got Mike out. Sorry, in the Renault. Joe is out, so he has also managed to fix. Good work by the Mercedes team. They're getting the car fixed.
Yeah. So definitely credit where it's due on that. We've got Mike in the pits at the moment. Toby's there. Danny's there. Robbernecker is out as well. Gary, Joe, Jimmy, Matt.
They're all out really. We've got Callum still in the pits. Mike staying in.
Everyone apart. Yeah. Matthew, how you pronounce it? Ben, Matthew, Callum, and Mike all yet to come out at the moment. Gary fastest in the first part of qualifying. Now here, it's the slowest 5 that will be eliminated, and the top 10 will go through to the pole position shootout. And the crucial thing to remember here as well is those who make it through to the final part of qualifying will start on the tyres that they set their fastest lap in this part of qualifying.
Yeah, I'm just watching Jimmy in the Williams. He managed to lock up going into turn 5, which is not the heaviest braking zone in the world, so that's quite impressive.
Yeah, but it's this here, turn 9, straight into turn 10. It's a very easy place to lock up and not be able to get the right racing line in that corner.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, you're always taught as a racing driver, and on any online league, you'll brake in a straight line. 90% of you braking in a straight line and then turn in. But the problem is with that corner is that it's already going left, and you're scrubbing off a bit of speed through turn 9. but you're having to still brake hard. It's so easy to turn 10 to lock up. You're inside. Good lap time by Ricky in the McLaren. Gary goes fastest, but good lap time by Ricky, you've got to say, in that McLaren. 1:30.2. That's a good lap.
Yeah, 31-1, and oh no! Oh.
Just as we say that,
Ricky has decided to bail from the session, and oh! I think he's got a technical issue. I think he's got a technical issue. Oh my word. Now if that is going to be very interesting if they can get that car fixed for the final part of qualifying, should Ricky be able to advance to that stage, but with the time he set, it's anyone's guess at this point.
well, it's going to be tight, that one. 1:30.2, he's already down to 6th. 7th.
Seventh
Now
and
that Martin.
Stephen, wow, where did that come from? 27.6 on soft tyres. He's a second and a half quicker than Gary, who is 6 thousandths quicker than Joe.
Well, if you wanted to have a marker, that is a marker lap time. They did say in some of the online media earlier on in the weekend that they think possibly pole position could get in the 26s. I didn't believe it, but do you know what? With that kind of lap time already happening, it's possible. And Rubbernecker has retired as well.
But I think that was more a crash than anything else.
Possibly. I'm just trying to see where he is on the track. I haven't seen anything. I'm just trying to flick through the cameras.
He was 5th. But it looks like he's going to be knocked out of this part of qualifying. Yellow flag in sector 3, so I believe he must. Yeah, yellow flags in sector 3, so Rubbernecker.
I'm wondering if Matthew might be involved, because he's on a lap that's currently 6.5 minutes long. So I'm wondering if he's had some kind of contact or a spin somewhere.
Well, that would be interesting. Yellow flag sectors 1 and 3.
That salvo though of Matthew, he's looking very good. It's looking nicely set up. Turning in, well, I'm on his onboard camera now through turn 4, and that is turning in beautifully. He's not even having to fight it. He's turning in lovely.
So smooth, so calm and collected. It's going to be very interesting.
There's pressure. It's his first race weekend. He's got to impress his team. He's got to try and impress against his teammate. And he's already out-qualified his teammate. Ryan's 18th on the grid. But also he's going to try and impress the other team managers.
Indeed, he could end up getting a slot at Ferrari in the mid-season transfer if he impresses well enough, which could put Stephen and Matt's seats in jeopardy if they end up having a repeat of what happened in Australia.
Yeah, it's a crucial weekend, you'd say, for the Ferrari boys. They've got to impress. Their qualifying pace was good. The first part of the race was good, but they both cracked under pressure and made errors. And they can't afford too many weekends like that. I mean, it was looking so good for Ferrari. They were hoping for more. They come away from Australia with 2 points. I mean, that's not going to be what they want.
Yeah, and Matteo at 1:31.9 puts him 14th at the moment. He's currently in the elimination zone. There's interesting yellow flag sectors 2 and 3. Well,
yeah, Mike's made a mistake somewhere. He's 3.5 seconds off the pace in the first sector, but he is very aggressively trying to get that car into the corners. He's absolutely dragging that car.
We're currently third at the moment, 1:28.907. Looks like Ben saving himself for. He's actually coming in now. He's second at the moment. Over a second slot, and Callum half a second behind Stephen. 1:28.100.
But if you look at that, Fraser, there, the top even the top 7, all on soft tyres, apart from Callum. So Callum, he's gone for the super softs. Don't forget this qualifying session. This is what they will start the race on. Is those tyres. So Callum going again, as in Australia, he's going for a different strategy to the others around him.
Yeah, especially his teammate.
Yeah, but you noticed earlier as well in the practice session, he was in a long run on those super softs.
Yeah.
So he's obviously trying to do, seeing how long those tyres could go, and he's obviously found something that the others aren't aware of.
Yeah, sounds about right. We'll just wait and see what happens. Will be interesting. So we've got. So we've got Martin in the Toro Rosso right now. He's currently 8th.
Good lap at the moment. He's on the pace. He's looking good. His car's turning in nicely. Been quite impressed with Martin, actually. He's sort of been knocking on the door of those around him. Or even those in front of him. You wouldn't expect the Toro Rosso to be up there with the Ferraris, but he's not far off the pace at the moment.
We just had Gareth drop out of the session. He's currently 12th, which means he will not be advancing to the top 10 shootout. Maybe he's got some technical issues as well. But at least he has the
that was close. Who was that? That was Jimmy in the Williams.
No, it was the Sauber.
Oh, Sauber.
It was Mathieu in the Sauber.
That was very, very close. That was almost
he cut across. Not the most ideal thing in the world to do, because Mathieu was coming out of the pits. And
that was almost another Sainz and Stroll moment, that wasn't it?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. But I think Mathieu might be having a couple of words with his race engineer shortly regarding that incident.
Yeah, Danny's still in the pits. He needs to get himself out soon. He's 14th. He's in the drop zone. The Toro Rosso's clearly faster, isn't he? And he's nearly 2 seconds slower than his teammate. So that Toro Rosso is capable of more. So he needs to get himself out there.
As time will tell, to see who gets through. We've got 3 minutes left to go. And it looks like Matt, for the Ferrari team, is planning on going out for another lap, possibly. We'll see what happens. It definitely looks like he's... Yes, indeed he is. Matt is coming out. Going to have a crack at trying to make it further up the order.
I'm wondering if he's seeing what Callum's doing and trying to match it now. We'll have one Mercedes, one Ferrari on the same strategy, because Steve is still in the pits. Callum's in the pits.
But Stephen's more than happy with what he's done.
Yeah, he will be, but I think Matt will probably be looking at the pace of Callum and seeing that he's on the super softs, because he's also gone out now on the super softs. So Ferrari could be playing a bit of a tactic here, try and get at least one car on the same strategy. As we saw in Australia, Callum's defending skills was absolutely brilliant at the start of the race, despite being on the slower tyres. So they're probably just going to try and outstart him, maybe.
Indeed. It definitely will be very interesting to see what happens here. But Toby is in the pits. He's
out of time.
He's not going to be able to get another lap in, which means he's not going to advance to the shootout either.
Technical issues, it looks like, for Danny as well in the Toro Rosso.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get another lap either. He's out. So that leaves Matthew and Jimmy to try and ruffle a few feathers and potentially make it into the shootout.
Yeah, Matteo's just done one lap. He's on his second lap now. If he's got the fuel, he will probably go for it, I would have thought. He's got to, really.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he has it. He's very low on fuel right now. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a proper lap in.
Good first sector, though. Good first sector.
He's only a couple of tenths down.
That can be easily made up if you get some good apexes together.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what Matt can do in that Ferrari. Let's see what kind of lap time he does. 28.4 first sector, and Steve did a 28.1, so he's a couple of tenths off his teammate in the first sector.
We've got so Matthew is so far so good. Oh, hang on. I think this could be the moment. I think Matthew is officially out of fuel, but it doesn't look like this is going to be tight. Is he going to be able to? Is he going to finish his lap? Is he going to finish his lap without any fuel issues? No, he's aborted the lap. Matthew's not going to advance, which leaves Jimmy the only man that can potentially get through to the final part of qualifying. And as I say that,
he's also I think he's got some technical issues.
So that's it. That's our top 10. That's our top 10. And Matt, as we say that, 28.3, 2 tenths off Callum. So there we go, and that puts him third. So there we go.
So the 5 cars out there: Toby in the Renault, Gareth in the Force India, Jimmy in the Williams is also out, Danny in the Toro Rosso, and Matthew in the Sauber.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah. Almost ended up with more technical issues on my end, but everything seems to be in working order, thankfully.
That's good. The wonders of modern technology, eh, Fraser?
Indeed. Nevertheless, here we go. The top 10 shootout. Mike and Rubbernecker, who was 10th. His crash, he must have crashed, which means he's not able to take part in this part of qualifying.
Yeah, I think from what I can see, it was quite a big crash, so I'm not entirely surprised.
Well, he is one of the newcomers as well, and like I said earlier, it's inevitable you're going to get rookie mistakes at some point.
Yeah, it
Nevertheless,
is.
we've got
and he's done very, very well. He really has, but yes, he is out at the moment.
I say to get into the top 10 in his first race is very impressive. But nevertheless, the guys that are going to be racing for that pole position are Mike, Callum, Gary, Joe, Stephen, Matt, Martin, Ben, and Ricky. Those are the men that are going to be battling for pole position. 10 minutes is all that separates them now from now.
I would say keep an eye on Martin. I don't think he's going to be the fastest in this session, but I think he could possibly challenge the Ferraris for row 3, I would say.
That would definitely be very interesting. I mean, you've got your usual suspects. You've got the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Red Bulls, and the 2 Ferraris. You've got those usual suspects, which is hardly surprising.
And Mike doing the same as he did in Australia. He's staying in the pits. He's letting the carnage happen, letting the rubber go down in the first few laps, and he's coming out later. He did that in Australia as well. Left it right to the last minute.
Paid off. It certainly paid off for him. But I think it paid off more for Callum because he waited right till the end to go for that pole position lap that knocked Mike down to second on the grid. Nevertheless, it's Martin here, Toro Rosso. The Toro Rossos, the Haas's and Jimmy for the Williams team, they were the guys that didn't participate in Australia last week. But nevertheless, we've got all but one slot on the grid filled for this weekend. Hopefully, we get that second Haas slot filled at some point. We'll wait and see what happens.
These cars do look brilliant under the lights. They really do. The light just reflects off them in such a nice way.
Absolutely, you can't fault that. I mean, especially around the streets of Singapore. I mean, the first night race in Singapore, it did not disappoint with its drama and especially the controversy with the Renault team. But we'll get into that when we get to Singapore. And I believe Ben is disqualified. Ben has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location.
Well, he will be very annoyed with that. That's 9th on the grid. He will be. He might even be 10th because he gets disqualified as opposed to retirement. But he was so confident going into this weekend. He was so confident he was going to get a good result, and he must have spun somewhere and waited for someone else to go through. That's the only thing I can think would have happened. He might have spun and waited for someone else to get through. Good lap time there by the Toro Rosso, 1:29.4.
And Gary, 1:28.3, puts him fastest. Is anybody else close to finishing their lap at the moment? Nope. Callum currently in sector 3. Coming around the final corner now.
This is looking far. I don't think he'll be quite as fast as Gary. Oh, it is. I was wrong. 1:28.2.
Spoke too soon there. 28.2. Spoke too soon there, Matt. Spoke a little bit too soon. And Joe is starting his lap. Stephen and Matt are going to be finishing their laps. Matt runs a little bit wide. And he goes second, 28.271. What does Stephen do now? He aborts the lap. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Decides to abort the lap.
Looking at the lap times, I think he made a mistake somewhere. Because he did a 60-second middle sector, so he must have made a mistake somewhere in the middle sector there.
Yeah. It's I'll say moving away from Formula One for a moment. It's a big weekend of sport away from this. We've got the Six Nations underway today, and tomorrow is the Super Bowl as well.
Yes, they all seem to put all these sporting weekends together, don't they? There seems to be a few weekends of nothing, and then suddenly one weekend you have them all at once.
Indeed. So with regards to the Super Bowl, who's your money on, the Patriots or the Rams?
I'll say the Patriots.
I'd have to agree with you on that one there. Definitely the Patriots, because they've got to try and redeem themselves after what happened against the Eagles last year. A couple of big mistakes that ended up costing them the game in the end.
Joey's just gone fourth, but I just saw the end of his lap. I don't think he'll be too happy with Callum. He almost got in the way there down the last straight, and Joey had to go around him. I don't think Joey would be too impressed with that.
That would have easily cost him a couple of tenths. Mike goes fifth, 28.9. Will be interesting to see what happens. So Stephen and Ricky are the only ones out of everyone that's in qualifying 3 that are yet to set a lap time.
Mike clearly going brave, going to go for one run. He's not going to have enough time to do. Sorry, not Mike. The Ferrari and the McLaren are going for one run in the last session because they're not going to have enough time to do 2.
It'll be do or die for them at this point. But Gary will be hoping to improve on his time, maybe get pole position possibly. Because he's just over a tenth and a half slower than Callum, so it is possible to get that pole position. He just needs to make a couple of strong corners throughout the lap, and then just take it from there.
A little bit surprised at the lack of pace of Mike. We saw how quick he was in the 2 preceding sessions, and he's 3/4 of a second off the pace here. Maybe he's holding himself back a little bit for the last run, but a little bit further off the pace than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be a very quick tyre change if he wants to challenge for pole position, possibly. I mean, who knows what's going to happen.
Gary's out quite early for his last stint. I'm actually wondering, maybe they put 2 laps of time. The thing with these super soft tyres, sometimes they do take a lap to actually get to complete operating temperature, a little bit like the Ultra sometimes do. So maybe they just need, it's cooler conditions now, the night, the sun's come down in the night. So he could be possibly doing 2 laps.
Yeah, compared to previous races in Bahrain where it was the middle of the day and the track would be really, really hot.
Well, I mean, in those early years of Bahrain, it was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it? Because it was constantly, sandstorms would be blowing across the track in the first few years. I think that's why they ended up moving into a night race. It limited the effect of the sandstorms.
Indeed, Stephen is out on a lap as well. Ricky is... and Joe is out on a lap as well. Is Ricky going to have time to get...
Good first sector by Gary, literally fractions off the pace of Callum. This could be interesting here. He was 0.03 of a second off the pace of Callum in the first sector. So he could be possibly... Sorry, no, he was faster. He was much faster than Callum in the first sector.
How's about that? This could be interesting to see what happens in the... in this,
good middle sector as well. He's up at the moment on his own personal best by half a second.
So very nice through that final corner. Down the main straight now. DRS. He doesn't open it, but he still goes fast. It's 27.8.
Good lap. Very good lap there by Gary. Ben set the team down a little bit there with the disqualification, but Gary definitely putting the team right back on that 127.8. I thought it was a good lap from the first sector. I looked and double checked the split times. He was much fun. Oh, Steve!
And where did that come from? 27.2. Where on earth did that come from?
Wow, we weren't expecting. He was so close up until that point, and now suddenly Steve has blown everyone else out of the water. Definitely holding back in the first 2 sessions.
To take a page out of Randy Orton's playbook, he came from right out of nowhere with that one. But I think
he did. Joey's on his lap. He's a little bit off the pace though.
Yeah, I think Gary is saving himself. He will have time to do another lap. He will have time to do another lap. The question is, will he be able to challenge Steven's time? They say Mike, Martin and Ricky are not going to get a time in. Ricky hasn't even set a time at all.
Could be saving his tyres there. There's no point. I mean, in that McLaren, he probably wouldn't finish much higher than he is, to be perfectly honest. So, probably saving a set of super softs for the race there.
I think that could be a very smart call. And oh, Gary spun it! Gary spun it! Oh my goodness me! Real shame there for Gary.
Joey goes 4.
Joey 4th, that's the best he can do for now. What the worst he can do is qualify 5th because Matt's on a lap as well. Callum's on a lap. Gary's lost it. Steven doesn't improve on his time. He'll be happy with how he's done.
The first sector on Gary, well, 3.5 tenths down on Gary in that first sector, so he's got a little bit of making up to do.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
Let's not forget, this is what he did in Australia, and he came out right at the end. But he's a fraction up on his own best, but I don't think it's going to be enough, to be honest.
And Matt 27.5 puts him second. And what's Joe going to do? Callum doesn't improve.
Callum stays where he is.
Callum does not improve. The Ferrari boys, who only got 2 points in the last race, have just locked out the front row.
That's great for them. That's what they needed. They needed that comeback. They had a poor race in Australia. They admitted it themselves. And now
1 and 2. You've got Gary 3rd, Callum 4th, Joe 5th, Mike 6th. He will be happy with that in the grand scheme of things. Martin 7th, Ben 8th, even though he got disqualified, but he may end up being pushed down the grid a little bit. Ricky, with his grid penalty, is 9th, but he will start 14th because of his grid penalty.
good session. Unexpected pace from the Ferraris at the end there. They were kind of definitely holding a lot back in that last part of qualifying, I'd say, but they brought it right back in the end. And what is interesting there is the fact that one of those Ferraris is going to start on the super softs, the other one is going to start on the softs. The same with the Mercedes, but the problem the Mercedes are going to have is that Gary has popped it into third place ahead of them, so we've got to get past him to challenge the Ferraris.
Indeed. But nevertheless, it's on to the race. Under the lights of the Sakhir circuit, we welcome you to round 2 of the Talk of the Devil Racing League here in Bahrain. It's a fantastic country. It's the smallest country in Asia. It became an independent country in 1971, and it was once a Portuguese colony as well. The track itself took 16 months to build, $150 million it's cost. Vettel is the most successful driver on the circuit, with 4 wins to his name, and less than half the races at this circuit have been won from pole position. So the circuit itself, 5.4 kilometers, 15 corners and 2 DRS zones. The main straight and up to turn 11 after turn 10. Some of the highlight races of years gone by. 2006, Kimi Raikkonen started last and got all the way to third. 2010 on the endurance layout, interestingly. Alonso with his first Ferrari win, and Hamilton and Rosberg, the duel in the desert in 2014. 3 tyre compounds this weekend, the mediums, the softs, and the super softs. And for the first time this season, Matt, it's over to you for the grid.
Thank you, Fraser. So on pole position, we have Steve in the Ferrari with an excellent lap in the last part of qualifying. Alongside him is his teammate Matt, all Ferrari front row. Gary, an excellent third in the Red Bull, and he's got Callum alongside him in the Mercedes in fourth. Joey is fifth ahead of Mike in the Renault. Then we have Martin in seventh in the Toro Rosso, followed by Ben in the Red Bull. Ninth is Rubbernecker in the Haas, followed by Toby in 10th place. Gareth is 11th in the Force India, followed by Jimmy in the Williams. 14th, we have Danny in the other Toro Rosso, followed by Matthew in the Sauber. 15th, we have Lee in the second Williams. 16th, we have Ryan in the Haas. Behind that on row 9, we have Ryan in the second Sauber, followed by Scartrix in the McLaren.
Onto the formation lap, and already we've got a couple of disqualifications.
Yeah, we've got Martin and Rubbernecker and Toby out already by the seams of it, and one of the
Kyle and Ryan as well
are also gone. Not quite sure what's. I think there seems to be a few technical issues.
Yeah, while these guys are going out on their formation lap, let's have a look at the tyres they've got. So you've got Stephen, Gary, Joe, Mike, and Ben and Toby inside the top 10. They are starting on the soft tyres. The only person apart from them is Kyle, who's also on the softs. Ryan, interestingly, on the medium, so he's probably going for a one-stopper. And then you've got everyone else on super softs.
Yeah, as long as they're allowed to start, I hope they are, for their sake, to be honest. And for the sake of the race. But Ryan, yes, that's an interesting one in that Sauber. He seemed to have some decent pace earlier on in the race weekend. So that could be interesting there on the medium tyres.
Yeah. So after the first race in the championship last time out in Australia, the championship standings are as follows. It's Callum leading, Ben, then Joe, Jamie, Ricky, and then you've got Lee, Gary, Sean, who's no longer part of the league, Matt, and Attila, who's also no longer part of the league as well. Ryan and Matthew filling in for Attila and Sean for the rest of the season. Constructors wise, Mercedes.
We've lost the two Mercedes.
What happened to them?
The two Mercedes are both.
There you go.
It looks as though maybe they might be just all waiting for good. I hope everyone's in this race. I hope we haven't lost half the field already.
That would be a real shame. But we've got Mercedes, Red Bull, Force India, McLaren, Toro Rosso, Sauber, and Ferrari. That's how the Constructors' Championship is at the moment. But that could all change today. Anything can happen. Rest of the grid forming up. 19 drivers. Who knows what's going to happen? So it looks like, hang on, Ricky and Mike. But hang on, what's Gareth doing? What on earth is Gareth doing? Oh my goodness me. No idea what just happened there. But it looks like Gareth isn't going to be in the race. We're finally about to get started now.
There was technical issues for Gareth. Apparently he's doing his formation lap as we speak, which is why they're all waiting on the grid.
Oh my.
But there seems to be some technical problems for a few.
And Danny apparently has been oh my word. But it looks like he's got the same issue as Gareth.
Yeah, there seems to be a few technical issues for a few people here. Maybe they might need to restart this race, I would say, at some point.
That will be, I mean, that would be a shame. It would be a shame to have to go through qualifying all over again.
They should be able to just do the race and set the grid up as they qualified. So hopefully they should be able to just get the race underway. I think that would be the best way of doing it. Because we appear to have lost half the grid. We're down to, I believe, we're down to 15. Yeah, we're down to 15 cars on the grid.
That is definitely going to make things very interesting. Yeah. This is not the most ideal situation that these drivers would want to be in. There you are, you've got those two empty slots there that were taken up by Gareth and Danny. The question is, when are we actually going to get this race started?
Well, they've been on the grid now for 7 minutes. Something needs to happen here so that we can get this race underway.
Yeah, the race directors will be frantically trying to work out what to do here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way they can do this, even if they do maybe one-shot qualifying, just to get everyone a chance to do a lap. They don't not necessarily redo the whole qualifying, maybe just do one shot, give people a chance, because it's not really fair on those who have been disqualified already just to run the race. But at the same point, they don't want to be having to redo it.
Just when we thought we didn't have enough technical issues this week. I mean, I've had a lot of technical issues on my end, and now we've got technical issues during the race itself. I mean, goodness me, can we go through one day in the world of Formula One?
Here we go.
Finally, 5 lights, and at long last, it is lights out, and away we go in Bahrain. They were standing, they were on that grid for 8 minutes, but it's a great start there for Stephen. Scar has had a great start as well. A great battle between Gary and Callum. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. And we've already got yellow flags in sector 1.
Great start by Martin in the Toro Rosso. He managed to get past one of the, he got past Joey, but Joey just a little bit of contact on the exit turn 3. And Joey is back
and Robin
past.
Necker. Robin Necker's had a spin. Robin Necker has had a spin. That's him down the order. My goodness me, what a start. I mean, that is going to go down in history as the, technically, time-wise, the longest formation lap in the history of Formula One. But nevertheless, Stephen leads, Matthew second, Callum third, Joe fourth, Gary fifth, Ben 6th, Martin 7th, Scar 8th, Jimmy 9th in the Williams, Toby 10th, then it's Kyle, Rubenecker, Ryan, Lee and Matthew. Gareth and Danny not starting the race, disqualified, and Ricky and Mike, who had okay qualifying sessions, especially Mike 6th place, they didn't even start the race. And already yellow flags in sector 3.
I can see a pattern here already. Here, Fraser, look at this. We've got Callum trying to go up the inside of the mountain. They have been defending for their lives down. And Callum is through. Callum is through into second place. And Scar's up to 7th. Scar's got past Martin in the same corner as well. Good move there by Scar.
This is going to be a fantastic battle and it's only lap 2.
Oh!
And it's only gone! And that's Scar! It's gone into chaos. That's Toby out of the race. Martin's going to get a 5-second stop-go penalty for a collision with Toby. That collision has put Toby out of the race. And Scar has lost his front wing as well.
Once again, absolute carnage. Absolute carnage down there, but I'm not quite sure what happened. I saw suddenly Scar spear off the track. I think he lost control on a curb stop, and as he came back on the track, Toby collected him. Very unfortunate, really, for both of them. But I just saw Scar spear off the track.
It looks like Ryan has lost his front wing. He's going to need to come and make a stop as well.
There's problems for Martin. I'm just trying to see.
And it's a virtual safety car. Virtual safety car is out. That's Ryan out of the race.
And there is damage, I think, on the Toro Rosso of Martin. He's going quite slowly. Yeah, he's lost one side of his front wing, so I think he will be also. But the virtual safety car is perfect for these guys, especially Martin. He's made it to the pits. Everybody going in there slower, going around slower on the virtual safety car. He won't lose as much time as he normally would.
Scar's in the pits as well. He's his front wing. Martin onto the mediums. Same with Scar. Scar's onto the mediums as well. Here we go, lap 3, DRS is now enabled.
Those two, Martin and Scar, at the back, don't be surprised to see them try and do a one-stopper now.
Yeah, and that being their one, and that stop being the one stop that they could possibly need to minimise the amount of damage that they could have when it comes to the later.
Oh, and leads off in the Williams in turn 8. I think he's got some damage. I'm just trying to have a look at his front wing. I think he's got some damage. I think there's a little bit of damage on his front wing. And very, very wide in turn 8, completely outbraked himself. And the car just didn't look like it was going to turn in.
Yellow flag in sectors 2.
Yes, it's a Haas spun.
It's Kyle.
Ryan.
That's Kyle.
Kyle.
That was Kyle that went off. Matthew up into 9th. doesn't look like Kyle's had any damage.
No, I think what happened there is that curve on the inside of turn 13. If you just catch that, Kyle will go round. If he went round in the 360, he probably just about recovered it. I saw the tail end of that instant, and I think that is what happened. But he's immediately back on the pace there, catching back up to Matthew in the Sauber.
Indeed, and oh, Joe goes a little bit wide as he's trying to get to bed. Oh! Joe's lucky he didn't put it in the wall. Joe is very lucky he didn't put it in the wall.
Good job so far from Steve in that Ferrari. He's on those harder tyres, he's on the soft tyres compared to the super softs of Callum and Matt, but he's just edging away.
That could definitely prove crucial heading into the first round of stops. I mean, we're anticipating that it's going to be a two-stopper for a lot of the field today. We're anticipating that the super softs are going to go about between 15 and 20 laps, and the softs about 25 laps, if that.
Well, judging by Australia, that would be Ben going 50 laps on a set of super softs.
Yeah. But we've got Matt and Callum battling for second place right now. Matt's right up on Callum. They almost touch. They do touch, but Matt takes second place.
Amazing. That's what they needed. The Ferraris need the Ferrari for their tactics there. They needed Matt in second place to hold Callum up, to let let Steve get away.
And Callum tries to go through on the inside, but Matt maintains position. We've got Callum. Here we go. DRS.
And Kyle,
but he's not.
As past Matthew, has gone back into ninth place. So Kyle on a mission now.
Yeah.
But this is perfect for Look at the gap now between Steve in the lead and those two battling in second place. It's over 3 seconds. They're only about a second and a half apart. The lead has doubled just in this battle. This is exactly what Ferrari want. To make this strategy work, Steve needs to get away with those soft tyres. And that's exactly the battle. This is perfect.
Yeah. Matthew essentially being the wingman on this occasion, but Callum is so close. There's the DRS. He's going to get second place for sure, and there he goes into second place without much trouble.
Yeah, easy pass really with the DRS there, but well, these two are having a fantastic battle. They really are, but Steve is getting away. Going defensive there on the way up to turn 4, a little bit defending fresh air, but well, what a start to this race already.
Yeah, as a Ricky and Mike with their technical issues, they were not able to get onto the grid, and as a result, they are not going to be finishing. They are not even going to be able. They didn't even manage to start the race, let alone be able to take part in it.
That's a shame for them. Mike as well, 2 races in a row, crashed out in the first race. Technical issues in this one. He really hope next time out in China he gets a little bit more luck. Really, he certainly deserves it.
Yeah, but say Martin just got past Lee into 11th place. Now he's going to start hunting Matthew down, but he's 21 seconds down the road.
He is. Let's not forget though, Martin's on those medium tyres, so he'll be going a long, long way in this race. And if he can just sort of edge that gap down, as Scar has overtaken Lee to move into 12. But if he can just sort of edge that gap down, there is every chance he could be doing the same number of stops still as Matthew. So he could still possibly look at some points.
There is indeed the possibility of that. He could end up on a set of super softs once this set of tyres reaches the end of its lifespan. I mean, these tyres could go at least 40 laps if you manage them well enough.
Yeah, easily. I think there's technical problems for Joey. He's looking like he's coasting.
He's dropping a long way back.
Yeah, he's dropped to 6. It says he's left the session. I don't know if there's some kind of technical problem for Joey there, but he's dropped to 6 and he's falling a long way back.
Yeah, he's gone from 5th to being 2.5 seconds behind Gary, which is not the most ideal situation in the world for him. But meanwhile, back up front, you've got Matt, less than a second behind Callum, and Stephen continued to increase his lead to nearly 4 seconds.
Great drive. I mean, this is what the Ferrari team needed. They needed to come back after Australia. And you've got to say, Steve, harder tyres, as we keep saying, but he's pulling away. That Mercedes should be faster. And Steve is doing more than enough at the moment.
Indeed, and the crucial thing to remember as well is that Callum and Matt are going to need to come in earlier than Stephen because of the compounds that they started the race on.
They are, and that is going to be the advantage for them. This is perfect, really. In an ideal world, what would have happened is Callum and Matt would have got ahead of Steve at the start and edged away. And then when they come in, they would be on the fresher tyres, they'll start pulling away. Now, that's all we've thrown in the air. Steve's on the harder tyres, he's going to go further in the race. He's got all this time he's got, which is basically 4 seconds now, is time in his pocket. He can afford to stay out those extra couple of laps, have fresher tyres toward the end. Playing into his hands nicely, this.
And it will be, as I say, he was saying in the interview last night. It was a shame you couldn't make it for the interview last night because I believe you had an emergency to attend to.
I did, yeah. Sorry about that.
That's fine, but he said he's feeling very confident heading into this season, despite what happened in Australia. But nevertheless, he's 4 seconds ahead of this battle for second place. It's a great battle. Matt trying to get ahead of Callum, but they almost touch, but amazingly they avoid damage.
Good battle going on here at the moment for 11th place. We've got Martin in the Toro Rosso and we've got Scar in the McLaren, separated by half a second, but they are catching Matthew in the Sauber by about 2 seconds a lap at the moment. So that's a great battle there. And Rubberneck is in the pits for Haas. He's pitted very early.
That's 8 laps on the Super Softs.
Just see where he comes out. I think Matthew's going to squeeze past. Always going to be close. But that's perfect.
That is brilliant. He only lost 1 position in that stop. Rubberneck is still in the points. His teammate Kyle in the points as well. Jimmy up into 6th ahead of Joe now. That is amazing. The Williams of Jimmy ahead of Joe in the Mercedes. That is amazing.
Good drive so far by Jimmy, got to say. He sort of struggled a little bit in qualifying. Seemed to struggle to get some pace together. But and it looks like Joey's back in the race, which should be great. But yeah, Williams picked up some good points in Australia just by being really one of the few to finish. And it looks like it could be happening again here. 6th at the moment for Jimmy, and he is about a pit stop ahead of Matthew in 10th place. So if he can push for a little bit longer, that could be good. And Scar as well has got past Martin. So Scar having a good race as well in the McLaren in 11th place now.
Yeah, Scar didn't have too much trouble getting past Martin. And as I say that, this battle between Callum and Matt, it's still going on. And yellow flags in sector 3, someone's gone off.
No, I'm trying to. I think someone's just run wide there.
I think it's Lee. I think it's Lee.
No, he's in sector 2. I have a feeling it might be Rubbernecker pushing those new tyres in the Haas. I think he was just pushing a little bit too hard and ended up just running wide. Still looks like there's technical problems, unfortunately, for Joe, I'm afraid.
That is the last thing he needed. He got 3rd place in Australia last time out, but he is just dropping back at quite an alarming rate. And now oh dear, and there goes Kyle ahead of him. There goes Kyle ahead of Joe.
Could this be
could this be a rare off day for the Mercedes team?
Looks like it at the moment. Keep an eye out for Scar in the McLaren. He's in 11th place. He's lapping in the mid 1 minute 34s. That's his fastest lap. He's on the medium tyres. He pitted in the first lap. That is a good pace on those medium tyres. Those medium tyres, we're looking at possibly 2 seconds a lap off the pace at times. He's lapping just about 1.5 seconds off the pace of the leaders in that McLaren.
That's definitely a sign of things to come if he manages to make a huge impact in this race, and it looks like he's doing just that. He's only 6 seconds behind Matthew, who is in the last points-paying position at the moment. And the gap between Stephen and Callum is now 6 seconds. Callum still can't shake Matthew off.
Good drive here by Matthew. Got to say, he's kept it out of trouble.
Yes, and Joey now down in 9th place. This is a really bad day at the office for Joe. I mean, you've got to feel bad for him. I mean, everyone's been plagued by technical issues. The commentators, some of the drivers before the race, Joe during the race. Oh boy, hopefully we get those issues fixed by the time we head to China next week. And Matthew, he went for the overtake, but he went he outbraked himself and lost a lot of time to Callum.
Yeah, I've seen Matt do a couple of those. He's not afraid, but he did say this, didn't he, in his interview a couple of weeks ago. He said he was going to go for it. He was going to go for the gaps. Any little gaps that he sees, he's going to go for it. We've certainly seen that with Callum. Good driving by the pair of them to avoid a big incident and avoid a big accident. But he's definitely going for the gap. But meanwhile, Fraser, look at the gap now to Steve. 6 seconds. This is helping immensely.
6.5 seconds, and Scar is right on the tail of Matthew as we say that. This is for the last points-paying position. Scar goes for the move. He brakes. Now he's just got to maintain position, and he does. Scar is now in the points. Absolutely brilliant work on his debut, despite the first lap incident.
Yes, good drive by him there. Good overtake. Matthew did well as well, though, you've got to say. It would have been silly for him to try and... that car was clearly a lot faster. And he didn't try and do anything silly, just let him through. They know that they're both catching Joey. Yes, fastest got past Joey. Matt is hit. That's quite an early stop. Lap 12. It's
lap
kind
12,
of on target.
Yes. He's on the softs. He's going on to the softs, so that gives Callum a bit of breathing space for now. And it looks like someone's gone off. And it's Kyle. Kyle went off. And I think he has damaged his front wing quite badly. He's going to need to come in to change that front wing.
This will be interesting now with Callum. What does he do? Does he stay out there and try and pump in some quick laps now? Or will he pit? I mean, it was a no-brainer really for Matt.
He stays out. Kyle stays out.
Well, that's
Kyle
a
is
brave.
staying out. Why would he stay out with front wing damage?
Well, maybe the reason he kept spinning was he had oversteer, and now that the front wing's damaged, it's sorted itself out.
I would be very amazed if that were the case.
But this is going to be the crucial point here for Callum. Does he pit on this lap? Matt, I think he was a no-brainer. He had to pit there, really. He'd locked up a few times.
I said there is enough time. It's about 20 seconds. Oh boy. That's definitely going to make things very interesting. Again, like a lot of breathing space. He goes on to the softs. Ben goes through.
I'm on board with Matt now. This is going to be very, very close. Callum coming up.
He's coming down the straight. Is Callum going to maintain? This is going to be close. This is too close.
Just about.
Callum manages to leapfrog Matt in the pit stops. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, he was already there. He was
masterstroke.
He was just ahead of him before the pits. I've got to say, but I think Matt was trying to get past him, and they had to do it.
There he goes. Matt gets past.
Great move. What a move.
And that crucially gives Stephen enough time to be able to make a pit stop and still essentially...
Oh, and Callum's got up the inside.
Oh, that's close. They almost touch.
That was brave. To throw it up the inside of turn 10, that's a brave move.
Cheeky little knock on there, Matt, as well. My goodness me. This is a case of, if you want to... And, oh, Matt goes wide, and Callum storms through.
Well, after all that, he makes a mistake. But this is not going to be over yet. This is going to be damage to turn 1. Matt's going to have the DRS, which he has.
Here we go. Is he going to be close enough to make the move on this occasion? He's still got a bit of time.
Oh, he's throwing
and he goes for
all this contact.
It's a late lunge, and he makes it stick. A late lunge, and he makes it stick. Absolutely brilliant.
That was bravery. Callum would not have seen that coming at all.
And oh, they almost touch again.
This is a brilliant battle. But meanwhile, Steve has got a 14-second lead now. These two are some 26 seconds, 27 seconds off the lead. This is costing them both badly. And Ryan's got a penalty. Sorry, Kyle. Sorry, got a penalty in the Haas.
A penalty for corner cutting, and that will go on to his time at the end of the race.
Yellow flag in sector 2. That's because someone else just run wide. But these two really, if they want even to finish second and third, they need to stop taking time off each other. And
they need to focus on starting some.
So close. Wow. Sorry, I just saw Callum break very, very late into the final corner, and nearly collecting Matt along the way. That would have been an accident and a half.
Yeah, and but nevertheless, he goes through and he gets ahead. This battle is pretty much going to be. It's been battle between them since the start, and it's going to be a battle through to the finish. And oh! Callum shuts the door on Matthew, saying, "Not tonight. You ain't getting past me anytime soon."
Well, this is absolutely
and Matt goes wide. Jimmy in the pits as well as Lee. That puts Scar in the McLaren into 7th place.
Yeah, the two Williams putting on the same lap there.
Interesting, but very interesting there. But Lee is essentially a lap down.
Oh, and that was Lee come out of the pits and he's run wide immediately on those brand new tyres. That was what the yellow flag was there. He ran very, very wide in turn one. He's back on the track now. So easy to do in this first sector here. Sorry, the pit lane exit. In that first corner, you have to brake so late and you're on cold tyres and cold brakes after the pit stop.
I think he was a bit too eager to get out onto the track.
Good lap by Callum.
And Callum
1:33.0.
And that is the fastest lap of the race so far.
But this is what they need to be doing. Now there's a bit of gap between them. Maybe they can. A penalty for Lee for exceeding the track.
5 second stop-go penalty. And Kyle with a 5 second stop-go penalty for ignoring the blue flags this time.
Well, that's a bit silly, really. You should be seeing the leaders. But, yeah.
There's a Lee with a stop-go penalty for corner cutting. I mean, you normally see just a 3 second time penalty, which gets added onto the time at the end of the race. But Lee got a stop-go penalty for corner cutting, interestingly.
I think, if I remember rightly, he's had a couple of penalties in this race. I think that is why they would probably have given him. Yes, he had a 3 second penalty before. So they've already given him a 3 second, now they've given him, they've given him 2 3 second penalties. So that's his third penalty of the race already.
How's about that? Well,
I wonder
Matthew
what the
in
record
the
is
pits
for the
now.
most number of penalties in one race. That would be an interesting stat to look up.
That would be very interesting when we head into next season. That's Joe back up to the points thanks to Matthew coming in. He managed to get those tyres to last 17 laps.
Yeah, good. I mean, Matthew, he's not been the quickest in terms of pace. He's always held up Matt there quite badly, but he's not been the quickest in terms of
happy
pace.
with that.
But he's kept himself out of trouble. He's not done anything silly, and I think he could pick up a point or two here.
Yeah, that's it. That would be very interesting to see how that plays out. But you've got Rubbernecker here, one of the Haas drivers. He is currently 7th, and he started 9th. But the man on a mission is this man here, Scar. I wonder if he took inspiration from the Lion King when he came up with that name.
Well, I hope so, because that's my favourite film.
Yeah, I mean, pardon the pun. The rest of the field better be prepared for any tricks that Scar might have, because he started 18th and he's now all the way up into 6th. Potentially, in an ideal world, he could get a place on the podium today.
Yeah, he's certainly not lying around, is he?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. But that's Gary in the pits now. Gary in the pits. He got those tyres to last 18 laps.
But interesting,
he's
the
out
two
on the
leaders
mediums.
still going. The two leaders are still going. Oh, and Matthew, I was just saying about how well he's doing. He ran wide in turn 1. So he's back on track now. But he's running in 11th. He's just ahead of Kyle in the Ass. But he could definitely pick up a few points here, because especially with Joe with the technical issues, he's falling back. He's in 10th now. They're 13 seconds up the road from him. I think they'll definitely catch him.
Indeed, especially with how long Joe's been on those soft tyres. But Ben and Stephen have managed to get their tyres to last 18 laps so far. They're on lap 19 right now. Stephen's got enough to make a stop and still come out ahead of Callum, essentially keeping the net lead in the race.
Yes, this is what I was saying earlier about he's got that time in his pocket now. Probably you would say he would pick probably this lap in normal situations, but now he's able to make those 4-5 seconds lead, if not more, before they all pitted. He can now stay out for an extra couple of laps and have fresher tyres as the race goes on.
Yeah, Stephen and Ben decide to stay out. You've got Scar and Rubbernecker battling for 6th place. Rubbernecker's going to have the DRS. He's got everything more or less turned up, but he's not quite close enough to get past Scar on this occasion. Meanwhile, you've got Matthew and Kyle battling for 11th place. Nothing spectacular, but it could give them a momentum boost as they try to hunt down the points. And as I say that, Kyle gets past Matthew with ease.
Scartrix is super impressive in this race. He's in 6th place. He's still catching Gary. Gary's gone on to a set of medium tyres. They're brand new tyres. Scar is still very slightly catching Gary. Just under 27 seconds. Nearly just under a pit stop behind. I mean, this is a great drive by Scar. He had problems in the first couple of laps, but he's really turning it around at the moment.
And Rubbernecker turning things down to try and build up his ERS.
Yeah, so Matt's dropped off the pace a little bit there in 4th place. I think the reason for that is, from what I can see on my screen, he's overused the fuel in the first part of the race, maybe trying to get past Callum. So he's probably conserving a little bit of fuel at the moment to try and make sure he gets to the end of the race. Well, that's probably why he's dropped to about 2 seconds behind Callum now.
Yes, and Stephen continuing to increase his lead. And Gary, where on earth? 32.7 on medium tyres, fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race on medium tyres. That could prove crucial in his hunt for the lead.
And Matt, as I say that, actually, Matt's starting to come back at Callum a little bit there. He's in the 4th. They're 3rd and 4th now, and he's just starting to bring that gap down a little bit, down to just under 2 seconds. Well, about a second and a half now. So Matt's starting to come back again. But this is what I was saying earlier about Steve. Now he's gone on to his 21st lap of these set of soft tyres. We've seen everyone else on those softs sort of bail out at around 18 laps or so. Ben as well is doing a good job there in 2nd place. He's also just starting his 21st lap, but because of that gap he built up early on in the race, Steve is really able to just stretch these tyres a little bit further.
Indeed, and the gap between Stephen and Ben is now 18 seconds. And it's I said this is very interesting as far as what's happening is concerned. And oh, hang on, it looks like Ben has lapped Joe.
Yes, Joe is
falling. Ben has lapped Joe.
And a penalty, yeah.
Rubbernecker with a time penalty.
I would assume that's exceeding the track limits. He's done that a couple of times, I've noticed. But I expect to see Steve in this lap or the next. The gap's down to 23 seconds to Callum. I think, if I remember rightly, Fraser, it's about 20 seconds for a pit stop here, is it?
Give or take, yes. You've got to take into account the amount of time it takes to make the stop as well. So it could be 21, 22 seconds at most.
So yeah, in the next couple of laps, let's not forget he had a 6-second gap when they pitted, and if it is about 21 seconds, the gap's going to be down to 2 seconds, but he is going to have fresher tyres, and Lee off as well, and Matthew also struggling a little bit. Great. So that's Kyle letting one of the Red Bulls lap him. But yeah, expect to see Stephen in the next couple of laps.
Yes, and Martin gets past Rubbernecker into 7th place. Matthew in the pits now, as well as Lee. Interestingly, they've obviously came together. They must have, and it's.
Yeah, that's Matthew only pitched a few laps ago, so he must have made contact there.
So Lee serving his stop-go penalty and having to change his front wing. He's now on the soft tyres. Matthew out on the mediums. He's hoping he'll get to the end of the race on that compound. Rubbernecker is coming in.
And so Steve, the leader, is pitching. I said he'd be pitching about now. Steve is in the pitch. He's got a 23-second lead over Callum. It's going to be close.
23 seconds. He's going on the super softs.
Not the centre softs.
Ben's coming around the final corner, and crucially, Callum on the main straight as well. Ben's no doubt going to get past Stephen, but is Callum going to get past him as well? Is Callum going to get past Stephen? This is going to be mighty close. No, he isn't! Stephen played that absolutely brilliantly, makes the stop, and still gets ahead of Callum.
Yeah, good stop. He was able to stretch that probably a little bit further than they thought. But he's gone on to another set of stops, so he's definitely going to be stopping again. That's guaranteed. We know that I'll definitely think Callum and Matt will be. So probably able to stretch that out purely because of the gap he had earlier. So instead of having to go onto the mediums, he's been able to do another set of softs. But the thorn is in his side here could be Ben. Ben is leading. He's got a 1 second lead. Steve's going to catch him very quickly, but what he doesn't want to do is lose too much time. He's got 2 seconds in his pocket. He doesn't want to lose too much time, or else Callum and Matt are both going to be on his tail.
Yes, and Stephen really closing in, and so is Joe, even though he's been lapped. But you'd argue he's entitled to try and unlap himself to try and get back into the race.
He is, but now Steve's got to make this stick now. He's got to get past Ben as quick as possible. Will Ben fight him? Not really. I've got to say.
No.
Kyle's got another penalty. Oh, and Ben has got one back on him. Oh, that was Ben fighting him. Wow, that was great. And Ben has made the stick. Is he going to have enough grunt to hold it up the inside? I think he is just about. And wow, that was great.
Oh my goodness me! Oh my word!
But this is what I was saying. Look how close Callum is now. Callum is right there with Steve. This has all gone wrong with Steve. Callum has caught right up. Matt's in there as well. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, my friend.
Now, despite the fact that Joe has been
Joe.
Oh my word! Yeah, Joe went wide. Now you'd think this is very confusing, but here we are. You'd think because Joe is, you'd think because Joe is up there with this battle for the lead, you'd think, oh great, Joe's battling for the lead as well. But only to realise, oh wait, he's a lap down in 10th place.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joey's a lap down. Goes to show though, he had the pace to be up there, but for his technical issues, look, he's still hanging on in the background. I think he's pitting actually as we speak. Yes, Joey's pitting, so that's his first stop of the race. Oh, and Callum getting past Ben as well.
Callum gets past Ben as well. Now Stephen and Callum can start battling amongst themselves. Oh no, wait. Callum was battling with Matthew earlier in the race, but now Callum can start hunting Stephen down once again. But bear in mind, Callum's tyres are 10 laps older than Stephen's, so we've got to keep that in mind.
I'm wondering if Ben's going to try and do something similar to Australia here. He's done 25 laps on these tyres. He's clearly not on the pace of the leaders at the moment with those tyres. But if he can go maybe to lap 35, 40 on those tyres, he could go on to a set of superstars and then watch the pace he will have later in the race.
That would be very interesting if he was able to do that. Ben has DRS, but so does Matt. Oh! Matt tries to get past Ben as we say that. They almost touch, and Ben somehow keeps third place.
And he's run wide, so Ben has lost it in the end. But wow, I mean, very much, he's got a very old tyre. He's done a brilliant job.
Now we're almost halfway through the race already.
And the good news for us, Fraser, we've got more people still left in the race this time. We don't just have 5 to think about.
Absolutely, yes. So we've got plenty of... Robert Necker gets past the Williams of Jimmy into 7th place.
Yeah, he's just starting to drop. I'm just looking at Ben's lap times. He's just starting to drop off the pace a little bit. He was in the mid to low 34s. He's now dropped into the mid 35s. Still a good pace though. Still a good pace, but just starting to fall off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like Scar is starting to drop off now. He's down in 9th. Which is a bit unfortunate because he was up as high as 6th or 7th at one point.
I think Scar may have technical issues. I'm just looking at his car now, and it doesn't appear to be in the session.
He's running a lot slower than what he was earlier in the race.
Yeah, I think he may have technical issues. But can you believe this though, Fraser? Just looking through the look who's up in 6th place right now. Martin in the Toro Rosso.
Despite the first despite the first lap incident, absolutely incredible.
I know, that's great. And Steve now starting to get some good laps in. But yeah,
32.3 fastest lap of the race.
He himself out of trouble, Martin, and he's up into 6th. And you've got to say, I mean, he's 11 seconds clear of Rubbernecker in the Haas behind him, who's only catching slowly. He's not catching him that quick, but he's looking good there.
Now that's interesting. Ben, he was on the soft tyres. He managed to get them to last 28 laps, and it looks like he's going to take. Looks like he's going to take these medium tyres right through to the end of the race.
Yeah,
it's a bold move, going for that one stopper, but short-term loss, potentially long-term gains later down the road.
Yeah, I mean he will have the pace. Brand new set of tyres. It will be interesting to see what pace he has now got on those medium tyres. Like I said earlier, they were struggling for pace from what I could see from the practice session. But if he could make them last, don't forget all those cars ahead of him have got to stop again. He's now on potentially a faster set of tyres. He could possibly get himself in that lead battle. We've already seen how hard he will defend his position. If he can start making some inroads in that gap, he's only 25 seconds off the lead, 26 seconds off the lead. If he can make those tyres last and start making some inroads on the leaders, he could be right in there.
Indeed, it's all about how long he can make those tyres last. Is he going to make those tyres last all the way to the end, or is he going to play safe and go for another stop later down the road? I mean, Gary's tyres are 10 laps old at this point, and Matthew and Callum, their tyres are 16 and 15 laps respectively, but they are on softer tyres, which means they are definitely going to need to stop again, meaning Gary will essentially be in second place after Callum and Matt make their stops next time out.
Yes, I'll be interested to see. Oh, there's the Williams off. Lee is off. He's completely spun it at turn 8, I believe, coming out of the hairpin. Just got his wheels on the curb, 2 wheels on the curb, spun the wheels up a bit quick, and the car turned round on him.
He makes contact with one of the Red Bulls! He made contact with one of the Red Bulls!
It's Gary, sorry. He's hit Gary.
Oh my word!
Well, that's just silly. I'm sorry, but that is just silly. He just made a mistake. He spun round. Gary comes along completely minding his own business and lapping him, and ends up
he just goes into the
hitting
back
of him. Silly.
Martin in the pits now.
Good long stint from him, 26 laps on those tyres. Got onto a set of softs. He should just be able to make the last. Now this is going to be interesting. Gary coming back through to lap Lee again. This is going to be interesting, especially because this is another heavy braking zone. Don't do anything silly, Lee. Oh, just about. But this is going to be interesting as well now with Red Bull. What do Red Bull do? Ben's come out and he's on those brand new medium tyres.
Hopefully seeing them through to the end of the race.
He should, but are they going to ask Gary to move out of the way? They're only 1.2 seconds. They don't want Gary.
Indeed, so it's only 2 seconds between Matt and Callum, but they'll need to start thinking about what they're going to do for their next stop. Are they going to go onto another set of softs, or are they going to go for the mediums and just blitz them right through to the end? We're on lap 30 now, 27 laps to go after this. Running order as it stands, it's Stephen, Callum, Matthew, Gary, Ben, Rubbernecker, Jimmy, Martin, Joe,
We've got Matt
Scott.
going slowly. Sorry to cut across you, but we have Matt. I think he ran by coming through turn 13, but he's now dropped to 10 seconds behind Callum. I just saw him going slowly coming out turn 13 or 14. I think he must have made a mistake there somewhere.
Well, I'm literally to say that Ben now gets ahead of Gary. Ben in 4th now, so just a recap on the running order now as we're on to lap 31. Stephen in the lead, Callum 2nd, Matthew 3rd, Ben 4th, Gary 5th, Rubbernecker 6th, Jimmy 7th, Martin 8th, Joe 9th, Scar 10th, Kyle, Matthew and Lee are the 3 drivers that are outside of the points at the moment.
I believe one of us may be having technical issues here, Fraser, because according to my running order, I've got Ben in the lead right now. So I don't...
Well, who knows what's happening, but at the end of the day, Martin gets past Jimmy for 7th, and Matt gets a time penalty for multiple track infringements. So here's Stephen now. He's 8.5 seconds ahead of Callum. To make things very interesting when it comes to the next round of pit stops, where Callum and Matt are going to need to Callum and Matt are now going to need to think about making their next stop pretty soon, because their tyres are nearly 20 laps old, which will make things very interesting indeed. who knows what's going to happen at this point. We'll just wait and see what happens.
Sorry, Fraser,
Jamie,
I have now got technical issues. I may have to go and come back in a second.
Alright, no problem. So, both commentators plagued by technical issues today. My word, it just has not been our day, has it? But nevertheless, Stephen now 9.5 seconds ahead of Callum, who is nearly 2 seconds ahead of Matthew Ashman. Ben is 4th, Gary 5th, Robin Necker 6th, Martin 7th, Jimmy 8th, Joe back up into 9th, and Kyle ahead of Scar in the points now in 10th. Scar now down to 11th, Matthew 12th, and Lee a lap down in 15. Well, actually, look at this. Everyone up to 5th. So Robin Necker down to Lee have all been lapped. Lee's 3 laps down. Matthew's 2 laps down. Robin Necker, Martin, Jimmy, Joe, Kyle, and Scar all 1 lap down. So the top 5 are still on the lead lap. We're on lap 33 now. And Scar is in the pit. He got those tyres to last 29 laps. So credit where it's due on this one. He did well to get those tyres to last as long as they did. Coming out onto the soft tyres. So he'll be hoping to be able to make some progress, potentially back into the points. The gap between Stephen and Callum now is just over 10 seconds now. Matt is just a 1.5 seconds down the road from Callum. We've got Joe, who's less than a second behind Jimmy. Joe could get into 8th place if he plays his cards right and he's careful. Makes contact, but he gets past Jimmy without much trouble. Joe now up into 8th. And the best Joe can hope for now is getting into 6th place, since he is a lap down. Going to be very interesting to see what happens in the closing stages of the race. Callum and Matt, yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. Who knows what happened there? But nevertheless, gap's nearly 11 seconds between Stephen and Callum. It's nearly just over 11 seconds now. But Matt's just over a second down the road. So he could try and battle for... yellow flags in sector 2. There's Robin Necker going wide. Going to be very interesting. Got about 20 laps to go. Matt and Callum still battling for 2nd place. And Matt's going quicker. 10th up on his previous best at the moment. And Lee back into the pits again. Looks like he's going to need to make another front wing change. Indeed he does. He lost the front wing completely. He's on to the mediums. Right through to the end of the race. And oh, it's a pit stop race between Callum and Matt. And Callum gets ahead of Matt. Oh, this could be crucial. This could be crucial. They're going to try and see these tyres right through to the end now. And Ben now up into second place. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible scenes here. Ben's about half a minute behind Stephen. And you've got Callum and Matt bearing down on Ben. Every corner, every lap. And oh, someone went wide, but they were just letting the front runners through. Going to be absolutely amazing to see what happens here. Oh, yellow flags in sector 2, and that's Lee, I believe. Indeed it was. That was Lee that went wide. And Callum less than a second behind Ben now. Go. He's going to have the DRS. He's not going to have much trouble trying to overtake him.
Hello, Fraser. I believe I'm back. I'm just loading up.
Ah, excellent. Good to know. And oh, almost contact between Ben and Callum. Callum and Matt. While you were away, Matt. Callum and Matthew managed to, they came in at exactly on the same lap, and Callum crucially got ahead of Matt in the pit stops, and Callum now into second place, overtaking Ben in the process. Now Matt Ashman is going to be hunting Ben down for third place.
Has Steve made his second stop yet, or is he still out there on his second set of tyres?
He is 13 laps into his soft tyre stint.
Oh, he's just their fastest lap as well, 1:32.3. That's good. And third set in tyres, 30 laps. I do apologise, I don't have the lap data on this. I don't know how long people have been out, but if he's on 13 laps, then that's a good lap, 32.3.
Yeah, but the
and
fastest lap
so
far
is in
is
the pits as well in the pass. He's driven well today. He really has. He's up into, well, he's down to 7th now, but he's in with a shout.
Oh, but here we go. Here comes Ben. Matt Ashman gets the fastest lap of the race, 31.8. And it's going to be close. And oh my goodness me, one of the back markers holding Ben up. And that puts Matt crucially into third. Now he can start hunting Callum down.
Yeah, he needed that. This is what I said earlier about Ben pitting when he did. He got onto those medium tyres. He's putting in this front battle. But the thing is, though, they're on the soft tyres, he's on the mediums. It would have been a monumental defending. And Romanek getting in the way of Callum and Matt. He's on his contact.
Oh my goodness me!
And now Ben's coming back.
How the level of body damage is beyond me. Matt goes wide. And Ben has DRS.
Battle and Ben's back into third place. This is going to be a battle around the outside.
Brilliant.
He's back and he's waving up. There's contact.
And it's contact between Matt and Ben.
And they're still side by side. This is brilliant by the pair of them. But Matt just about hanging on.
Unbelievable scenes.
But I mean, meanwhile, Steve will not be concerned at all. He's got a 34-second lead, and these two battling away with Ben just behind. Watch out for Ben here. He's got the slipstream. Can he make this thing? Matt's having to go defensive.
Matt has DRS as well on Callum. He's going to go for the outside line.
Oh, that is great.
He's going to have the inside line into turn 2. He tries to shove Matt off the track. But Matt's going to have the inside line heading into turn 3, I believe.
Oh, Matt's brake very late. And then run wide and Ben back through. Wow. What a piece of road by both of them there. A bit of argy-bargy going on between wow, that was great.
Absolutely incredible. This is going to be a great battle for the podium paying positions, and if we're lucky, these guys might end up in the hunt for the race win as well whenever Stephen decides to make his next stop.
I think for me at the moment, Steve's got this. He's got 14 seconds in his pocket. Even if Callum is now getting his act together a little bit now. He's got a bit of space behind him as well in the battle, but there's 33 seconds, really 34 seconds now. Steve would have to make a monumental error not to still be in the lead, and he can still go. And don't be surprised to see him going onto a set of super softs. He's probably got super softs left over. So if he can go maybe 5 or 6 more laps, he'll probably go on super softs.
And he'll take them right through to the end of the race, and he can just give it absolutely everything on his final stint. And Ben and Matt are still battling over third place, and they make contact! And I think that's one of them out of the race!
Matt's got damage. Matt's definitely got damage.
But has Ben got damage as well?
I think they've both got front wing damage. I think Matt might be okay. I think Ben will have to stop with that. I can't see him being able to go. But the person who kind of benefits from that, yeah, he's definitely going to have to stop. He's struggling there through those S's. But the person who's going to benefit the most from that is Gary. In 5th place, he's going to move up to at least 4. And if Matt does have to give him that damage,
if Matt...
yeah.
How's about that? It looks like Matt is definitely okay. He looks okay, but oh my word! Yeah, there is definitely front wing damage on Ben's car. He's gonna need to come in. I think that's his race more or less done and dusted.
Yeah, 5th is now really. The other problem they have, of course, with this kind of situation, they've run such tight margins. What tyres are they going to run? What a lap by Rubbernecker! Look at that in the hat.
31.6.
Where on
earth did that come from? Yeah, exactly. Literally, as I say that, where on earth did that come from? And he's one of the back marker. He's one of the midfield runners as well. There you go. And Gary responding 31-0.
Wow. He's probably there thinking, the guy front might have some damage. Super softs going on Ben's car.
Ben's going to try and take these right through to the end. Well, he's guaranteed at least 5th place unless he ends up having a major disaster somewhere down the road.
Yeah, he's 27 seconds behind his teammate. He's not really going to be capturing, but he should be able to. We saw what he did in Australia. He should be able to make these tyres easily last to the end.
Indeed, especially with everyone up to 6th being a lap down, and it looks like Ben might end up. Ben might end up being a lap down pretty soon as well.
I don't know if he will. He's 85, so he's still about 10 seconds up the road from where Steve is, but also he'll be on the very, very fast tyres now, so I can't really see there being much of a problem there.
Yeah.
He'll probably
It's,
now set some flying laps.
yeah. And then Stephen, who is over half a minute ahead, he's turned everything down, and it looks like he's going to be coming in pretty soon for his second stop of the day.
He still ended a pretty good lap. He's only about a third of a second off his best on this lap, but he's still setting a reasonable pace. But Callum is definitely catching him. I mean, he's down to 32 seconds, maybe 35 a little while ago. So Callum is definitely reeling him in. But thing is, they all got held up with Haas, and then they're all fighting each other, and that's really what's cost Callum a chance of his second race win in a row.
Yeah, but it would be impressive if he did manage to do that. But all it's going to take is a couple of mistakes from Stephen, and that's it. And Kyle is in the pits now. He's in the last point-paying position. He's serving a stop-go penalty that he got earlier in the race. Another front wing change. And he's going onto the soft tyres. He's going to be able to blitz those right through to the end.
Let's keep an eye out for Joey as well. He's back in the race now. His technical issue seems to have rectified themselves. He is catching Rubbernecker ahead of him. I mean, Rubbernecker, we've already seen the blistering pace he's got. But keep an eye out on him. He could. Ben is on a blistering lap at the moment. This could be a mid 1 minute 30. He's nearly 2 seconds quicker than his own lap, his own personal best. So this could be an absolutely amazing lap time from Ben. Look, at 1:30.
Literally as you say that. Literally as you say that. Literally as you say that. How's about that?
A second quicker than anyone else has managed so far in the race.
Yeah. As far as newcomers to the league are concerned, they didn't do any pre-season testing. They got drafted in. Some of them drafted in essentially last minute, and you've got Rubbernecker in particular up into 7th place.
Yeah, and he's slowly reeling in Martin as well ahead of him. He's in 6th, about 9 seconds. Just reeling him in a little bit there. So keep an eye out for him.
And Kyle went off. Just after turn 11.
Jimmy's not done a bad race either. They kept himself out of trouble. He got a little bit of trouble in the beginning of the race, but overall he was up to 9th in the Williams. 2 points finishes in a row for Williams. What a start to the season that would be. Definitely not one you'd be expecting. And you've got to say, really, all he's got to do is keep it on the road. He's half a minute behind as Martin gets a stop-go penalty for his ignoring the blue flag. That will probably get added on to his time at the end of the race. So that would be interesting because he's only 9 seconds clear of Rubbernecker. So he's not, and Rubbernecker is catching him.
But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, if he's careful and he manages to get these tyres through to the end, he might still finish 6th, but realistically he may have to swallow his pride and accept that he may end up finishing 7th, maybe 8th, if he decides to serve that penalty or not.
Yeah, looking at the pace the last few laps, I think Rubbernecker's got the pace on him. It'll just be now a question. He's got about 12 laps to try and close that gap down to within 4 seconds. I think Rubbernecker's got the pace to do that.
On paper, it is doable. If he catches him by about 3/4 of a second.
Well, look what's
lap,
happening here. Rubbernecker here is unlapping himself from Matt. Matt's just lapped him. Rubbernecker stayed very close behind him in the DRS zone and has just unlapped himself. We saw the blistering pace that Rubbernecker had, and he's just unlapped himself from Matt. So could be interesting here. Is Matt going to try and get back past him? Of course, Rubbernecker's got to be careful here because if he doesn't get ahead of him quickly, far enough, he will get the blue flags. If he doesn't move out of the way, he will get the penalty as well. But he is getting a bit of a gap now.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out at the end of the day. And Callum starting to see.
Oh, that is a hat off. And he's Rubbernecker. He's gone off. He ran wide in turn 10. I think he outbraked himself, caught the barriers, and has spun.
So he's going to need to let the Red Bull past, and indeed he does.
I think he has got. Yeah, he's got damage. Look at the right-hand side of his front wing there, completely gone. So he's going to have to stop. So that 5 seconds will probably happen in the pit stop now. So Jimmy in 9th place, he's 45 seconds. He should be okay from that.
And Martin, as we see that, Martin's in the pits now. Martin's in the pits.
So that will lift Joey.
And Martin is serving his penalty. That's Joey up into 6th now.
Never do that before. So they change the tyres first, and then you serve the penalty. I thought it had to be the other way around.
It is the other way around. Yeah, you serve the penalty first, and then you make the stop.
And that is Jimmy's made a mistake as well down there at turn 30.
He went wide.
He's just spun round. Well, I think he caught the curve on the inside, spun to the inside of the track, and he's back on now. But he's doing well. He's in 9th place. I don't know. I think Rubbernecker's just going to get out ahead of him. But yes, he is. So Rubbernecker now gone out on the set of super softs. That's going to be interesting. Rubbernecker on the super softs. We saw how quick he was before on the soft tyres. Can he break the lap record again here?
That would be very interesting. I'm actually going to double check the lap record at the moment. The race lap record 1:30.252 set by the great Michael Schumacher in 2004, the very first race, and based on the fastest lap, Ben has broken that lap record. Ben, with his 1:30.0, broke that lap record a few laps ago. So Ben has the lap record on this circuit now.
Can we see the first sub 1:30 racing lap here?
That would be very interesting if we do see that. It would be amazing if we did.
Rubbernecker with a penalty.
As we say that, but it's Callum continuing to reel Stephen in. I think Stephen's going to need to come in and make a stop to minimise the damage, which means we are going to be in for a grandstand finish for the race win between Stephen and Callum. And as I say that, Stephen does indeed come into the pits. 24 laps he got the tyres to last.
He was going to time that perfectly. You can see the gap coming down. He's down to 26 seconds looking halfway through this lap. He knew what the gap was. He saw how close he was last time. Decided not to take any risks. And as I thought, look, he's coming out on a set of super softs. This is going to be very difficult here for Callum. I would say Steve, if he keeps it on the track, doesn't make any mistakes, he's got a great chance here.
So there you go, 4.7, 4.4, just over 4 seconds between Callum and Stephen. 3 seconds now as we say that.
Yeah, they seem to lose a lot of time. They seem to lose a lot of time coming out of the pit lane into the lap. They seem to, the first sector they really seem to lose after making their stop. I don't know what it is. The first sector they lose a lot of time. Maybe it's the tyres or the brakes being a little bit cold. But you've got to say, Callum is absolutely going for it. He's still bringing the gap down.
2.5 seconds between him and Stephen now. This, like I say, this is going to be a grandstand finish between these two full race. He's now 2 seconds behind. I mean, look at that. Yellow flags in sector 1 as I see that.
That was Lee. That was Lee making a mistake in the first corner. Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on here with Steve. The gas now down to 1.5 seconds. Is he just trying to take it very easy? It's very easy to burn these super soft tyres out, but I mean, he wouldn't want the gap to get out.
I think he's taking it a bit too easy, in fact, because Callum's now less than a second behind.
Or he's just giving us a bit of entertainment as commentators here. I reckon that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think he tried. I think he lured Callum into a false sense of security. Lured us into a false sense of security. Look how close he is.
Oh, I had a feeling that Callum was just going to throw that up the inside.
Lured Callum, as I say, into a false sense of security to give him a chance of going for the lead and potentially the win. But Stephen said, not today, sonny boy. You're going to have to fight for it now.
And a great first sector as well. Absolutely great. And the lead's off again in the Williams. He's really struggling now. He's 2 laps down on his nearest rival now, is Lee. He's had a couple of offs just in this lap. But, well, talk about gamesmanship here between the Mercedes and the Ferraris. Steve come out the pitch with a 3-second lead. Slowed it right down to let Callum get within DRS, half a second. And now look at him. He's like a bullet from a gun. He's absolutely flying on this lap.
1.3 seconds quicker. I think that's the fastest second sector of anybody in the race so far.
Yes, it is. It is. So this should be comfortably the fastest lap of the race. 1:29.9.
It is 9:95. There's your sub 90-second lap, Matt.
Well, it looked like he was going to go, didn't it?
Yeah, it was inevitable it was going to go at some point. But there we go. So we've got 7 laps to go after this, and Stephen's still going faster, even though he's turned everything down.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with that when it's going well. When the car's going well for you, it's easy to be able to do that, really. And we've got Kyle off turn 13, perhaps he ran wide, hanging on to the last point.
Turn 13's been a very popular place for people to lose control of the car today.
It's probably all about setup. If you haven't got the car set up right, it's a quick change of direction there from the long left hand, and you suddenly flick it right, flick down a gear. If you haven't quite got the setup right, it can just unsettle the car. And as well, with the curve on the inside, if you catch that, you will spin round. So I think a lot of the drivers are catching it, beating the back end going, and then correcting it and having to slow down.
We won't be happy with that. We won't be happy with that. One of the Williams holding him up. I believe that was it was Lee again. So that's him now 6 laps down on the race leader. So as we approach the final stages of this race, it's been pretty action-packed. There was a lot of drama in the earlier laps, as is to be expected with these sort of races. But the battle between Callum and Matt, definitely the highlight of the day, without a doubt. Rubbernecker again with the time penalty.
He's going to be near a disqualification if he's not careful with these penalties in a single race. I mean, we've only got 6 laps to go. The thing is here is that he's not going to catch anyone. He's not really under any pressure behind him. Just see these 6 laps out. You don't need to be pushing hard. Just see these laps out. He's in 8th place, 4 points for Haas. He probably wouldn't expect to be getting. Just play it calm.
Indeed,
And Lee's off again. lead is off again, and again it's turn 13. Definitely
The,
unlucky for some here in this race, but he spun it.
I was about to say the infamous turn 13 in Bahrain today. So the gap still between Stephen and Callum, about 5 seconds, but Callum's starting to close the gap.
I think Steve might be toying with him again here. I think give us a little bit of entertainment, and then I have to say when I saw that gap coming down to half a second, if I was Callum, I may have been tempted to just send one up the inside there. You close it right down, and
it'd have been a case that, you know what, he's slowing down, let's just go for it. But again, that's clean. Again,
there was Matthew and one of the Williams.
It would have been Jimmy.
Yes, they were getting very, very close there. I think Matthew's actually a lap down on Jimmy, but almost took each other out down at turn 10. And Matthew now holding up the Ferrari.
Well, you don't want to be doing that if you're one of the back markers. Heading on to lap 53 now. 5 laps to go now. This is going to be a very tight finish if Callum can start closing in on Stephen. As the gap's nearly 6 seconds now between them. So I was about to say earlier that I say the Ferrari boys, they've certainly been trying to psych the Mercedes boys out, and it looks like they may have done just that, especially Stephen a few laps ago.
Yeah, definitely faultless performance, really, from.
And I'm sorry, Joey, fastest lap, 3 minutes 34, and they class that as the fastest lap at the race.
Yeah, that's not unusual, but faultless performance so far.
But he's in the pits
Stephen.
anyway.
I mean, really, it's been a team performance from Ferrari. Really, Matt did a brilliant job early on in the race when Callum was on the faster tyres and holding him up by just attacking him as hard as he could. And then Steve's just driven well.
And Joe, I believe, has gone on to a used set of Super Softs.
Yeah, I think he's having technical issues again because he's not in the session as we speak. He's still running, the car's still running in 7th, but it seems as if he is not in the session at the moment. And but driver of the day so far for me at the moment, well, certainly a very good drive so far, is Martin in the Toro Rosso. Kept himself out of trouble. He's up into 6th place. He's a lap down on the car ahead of him, of Ben. But he's kept himself out of trouble. He's had reasonable pace. He's had good pace in that Toro Rosso, and he's 6th.
That is absolutely amazing to see. And I think you've got Robin Necker as well, one of the newcomers, in 8th. So he'll get a couple of points for the Haas team, and you've got his teammate Kyle, who's about 20 seconds ahead of Matthew. So you could potentially have 5 points for the Haas team today, considering they didn't do the previous race last week.
Yes, I'm just having a look. I think he's had Robin Necker. I think he's had about a minimum of 9 seconds in penalties to be added on, and possibly as much as 15. He's only 20 seconds clear of Jimmy, so he needs to just keep his pace up a little bit because he's had a lot of penalties. We've seen his name pop up a few times on the screen with penalties. So just keep his concentration. He should be fine, but also keep a lookout here with Joey not in the session, he is catching Joey quite quickly, I believe. I think Joey might, Joey's still not in the session, I don't think. Let me have a look. Yes, Joey is back in the session. Joey is back in the session, so...
Good to know. So yeah, it's 9 seconds of penalties that Rubberneck is going to have, which means he will keep 8th place. So, I mean, early on in the race with Scar up as high as 6th, I would have been tempted to put him as driver of the day, considering he started 18th. But doesn't look like he's going to get any points today.
No, he sort of faded. Oh, he nearly took out a Ferrari. Nearly took out the race leader there, but yeah, he's kind of faded as the race has gone on. He had a couple of silly spins in the middle of the race, lost his front wing, had to make a stop, and he's never really recovered from that. He's just running around in 12th place. He's a couple of laps off the lead now. He's about 4 laps off the lead in 12th. But good foundation to work on there. He's got good pace.
Yeah, 4 laps off the lead. But he's 2 laps ahead of Lee, essentially. We've got 2 laps to go. And the gap between Stephen and Callum's still growing.
Yeah, Steve's actually turned everything up again, so I don't know if he's going for it here, but...
almost makes contact.
Where's that Rubbernecker?
I think that was actually Kyle.
No, that was Kyle.
It was Kyle.
But so nearly a bit of contact there. But I was just going to say maybe they're going to turn everything down and just make sure he sees it through. But he's actually got everything turned right up, and he's on another.
He's almost half a second quicker,
despite being held up by Kyle there.
He's almost half a second quicker. He may end up setting another fastest lap of the race. What a new track record as well. Here we go, on to the last lap, and
29.6 he did because the computers here have gone mad because for whatever reason said Joey's lap of 3.5 minutes was the fastest lap. It did register him, but that lap by Steve
29.6
is the fastest
officially
lap of the race. 1:29.693 is the fastest lap of the race so far,
and the fastest lap we've ever seen in the race for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So as Stephen's coming round to finish his final lap, driver of the day, Matthew?
Difficult one. Steve's doing very well. Good strategy by Ferrari, but I've got to give it to Martin in 6th place in the Toro Rosso. Kept himself out of trouble. Had good pace all the way through, and he's going to be rewarded with 8 points here.
25, 18, 15, 12, 20. Yeah, 8 points, yes, indeed. So here we go, as the psychological warfare between Ferrari and Mercedes has certainly paid off in Ferrari's favour today. It may not be a 1-2, they go 1-2 in qualifying, but Stephen Harrison proving to be good physically and psychologically as well. He comes down the final corner. Stephen Harrison gets Ferrari back on top and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Callum Harris coming down the final corner now, down the straight, 2nd place. Great race for him today. You've got Matthew Ashman, who is coming down the final corner now. Only 2 points in Australia last time out, and he finishes today 3rd place, 1st and 3rd for Ferrari. What
quiet race for Gary in 4th. Quiet race for Gary in 4th place. Really, sort of. I'm not really quite sure what happened to him. I can't remember what happened to him early in the race, but he fell a little way behind. But again kept himself out of trouble. Oh, and as I say, how well Martin's done, he spun on the last lap. He's now going to be close, I think. But no, I think he's lost part of his front wing. But he should just be okay ahead of Joey. He's going to come home 6th. Just as I was saying how well cursing the commentator or what. But
Ben came across the line in 5th. And Joe, because of Martin's time penalties, gets 6th place anyway.
Yes.
So Martin's 7th.
Penalty earlier, but a good race for Martin nonetheless. 7th place will be more than happy with that. So will his team with 7th.
There we go. Robert Necker on his race debut, 8th place. Not bad for him.
Hearing on, I'm just looking on the social media and Gary complaining about the back markers throughout that race, and you don't blame him. It was who took him out? I can't remember. Someone hit him earlier on. I think it was the Williams, was it? Hit him early on.
Yeah, who knows? But nevertheless, great weekend for the Ferrari boys. Just what they needed after a bad weekend in Australia last time out.
Faultless team performance, really.
So there we go. So there we go. So we'll wait and see what happens. So we'll get. So we're going to hear from our top 3 drivers in the post-race press conference very shortly. There we go. There's the official classification there. Stephen, Callum, Matt, Gary, Ben, Joe, Martin, Robert Necker, Jimmy and Jack. Those are your points finishers for the day. The rest of the drivers that finished: Matthew, Scar and Lee. Let's see if I can find him. Right, so there we go. That's looks like everybody's in. There we go.
Well, hello there, gentlemen.
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so there we are. Right. Yeah, so let's start with our race winner, as is tradition with the press conferences. Stephen, fantastic job all weekend, pole and the win as well. How are you feeling after that race today? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you seem to have a bit of a team plan there at Ferrari. You had Matt there with Callum holding him up. I didn't know. Was that part of the plan from the beginning?
And while we're on the subject of that, Callum, very intense battle between you and Matt. Did you feel you were gonna? Did you feel you were confident enough to be able to potentially take the race win if you weren't battling Matt as much as you did?
Not a chance. I knew right after qualifying that there was no chance that I was going to get anywhere near Stephen. Struggle around here a lot, but I'm quite lucky to finish that race, to be honest, because there's quite a few corners that if I hadn't moved out of the way of Matt, he would have taken me out.
Yeah, Matt, you
Yeah.
were you were certainly doing what you said you were doing. You were going for gaps that maybe weren't there. There were a couple of times there. You had a couple of incidents with Ben as well. Do you feel maybe you were pushing a bit too far?
Another one for Stephen. We saw towards the end of the race that after you made your stop, you slowed down to what looked like giving Callum a false sense of security. Was that all planned?
Callum, were you tempted there? Because you were at one point you were half a second behind him in the DRS. You were closing. I said to Fraser on commentary, if that was me, I might have been tempted to send one up the inside there. Were you tempted?
No, not at all. There wasn't a gap there. I think that if I'd gone for it, there was a chance that I would have not only taken Stephen out, but I would have ruined my own race as well. And quite frankly, it's a track that I'm very open in saying I'm not very good at. So second place, 18 points, I'll quite happily take that. Keeps me at the top of the drivers, keeps Mercedes at the top of the constructors. So we just push on, looking forward to China.
And last question for the Ferrari boys. I say this is definitely the sort of weekend you would have wanted after what happened in Australia. Do you think you'll be able to continue that momentum heading into the rest of the season? Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for your time. Well done on your race results today, and good luck in the next race.
Yeah, well done, guys. It was really entertaining race. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Right, cheers, guys. See you later.
And with that, that brings to an end this week's coverage of the Talk of the Devil Racing League here in Bahrain. Next, we are going to be heading to the Far East in the land of China. So until next week, it's good night from me, good night from Matt, and we'll see you again next week.
Good night, everyone.